Welcome to the final episode of Ability Analysis, where we shall analyze all of the unlockable alternate abilities in the game, before acting like a bunch of astrophysicists and pretend like we know what we're doing. Today, we shall be snorting up some hard-ass drugs and taking a look at the psychedelic goat and all of its statistics and quirks. Let's get started. The psychedelic goat, or drug goat, is the alternate ability to goatify that can only be obtained through purchasing it from Rux. The ability functions exactly the same, with the Rose swinging her magic erotic stick and summoning a projectile that travels slowly through the air. However, instead of transforming them into a normal goat, the enemy will become a drug goat. The drug goat lasts for 5 seconds, during which enemies will become extremely disorientated, having a warp screen, flashy visuals, and have far less control over their character. When they are the drug goat, they will automatically move forward at an extreme speed, and trying to move in other directions will be met with great resistance. This can actually result in enemies that are stationary to suddenly lose their position with the force momentum, placing themselves into a potentially fatal position. Additionally, whilst in the drug goat form, turning controls are affected in rapidly changing between low and high sensitivity, whilst also pulling you the opposite direction, making turning around have extremely inconsistent and wild results. Much like the standard Goatify, it has a 35-second cooldown once used. Now, to compare the two, which is better, and why? Well, the standard Goatify offers Rose a simple use of utility in allowing her to essentially shut down powerful zombies for 7 seconds, which will be plenty of time for either yourself or your teammates to take advantage of the situation. However, if the zombie was relatively bulky enough, they could still go on the offense and potentially ram into you and even kill you. We then have the drug goat, which removes almost all form of control in the enemy and forces them to walk forward, making them entirely defenseless and unable to go on the offense at all. The warp screen and flashing visuals may also hinder their vision, and being forced forward can cause them to unexpectedly fly off cliffs or straight into hazardous locations. However, the effects only last 5 seconds, so your team needs to react quickly. That and the extreme speed may make the goat very difficult to catch and contain. Both abilities fire the same projectile when casted, and both abilities have a 35-second cooldown once deployed. So, with the comparisons out of the way, which is better at what? Well, if you are looking for a simple form of utility that lasts long enough for you to properly take advantage of the situation and have the goat be relatively easy to track and take down, then the Goatify is your go-to option. If, however, you have that urge for chaos and prefer a more powerful utility that, although shorter, will essentially force the enemy to walk towards their death, and don't mind the goat being unable to be contained in the slightest, then the drug goat is your go-to option. As for my final verdict, across all scenarios and capabilities, honestly, it entirely depends on the user's personal preference. Both have their utility in shutting down legendary variants. The drug goat is just a much more extreme version that makes it wilder and harder to control. This is the last ability analysis episode, for all of the alternate abilities have now been covered. Thank you all for the support on the series' temporary reimbursement. Be sure to come back next week for something new that will be taking over the ability analysis slot. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more shit like this. Have fun.